Yo, so I need to acknowledge that this isn't the first time a video like this has been done. I've seen a few of them. I watched one from Erdrix, so full credit goes to them for the inspiration. I'll link the video below. Anyway, I wanted to make a similar video with the goal to help anyone who sees it try and get back into enjoying video games. I am very passionate about this topic. I have friends who struggle to enjoy games, and even myself in the last couple of years has started to fall out of love with games to some degree. So, going into the last bit of 2022 and into 2023, I've changed my approach to games and adopted some strategies and thought processes to help me get back into it. I think it was inevitable that at some point we would enter into a gaming recession of some sort. We had such a good decade with the 2010s, but that would eventually come to an end, and COVID really hindered the industry as well. Not all of the things I talk about will be revolutionary, and some of them will be very similar to things Erdrix listed, but I thought it would be fun to give my own anecdotal spin on things based on my own experience. Alright, let's get started. One of the most important things I've ever had to understand is why sometimes life can pass you by really quickly. Weeks, months, even years seem to go by in an instant. From my understanding, one of the reasons for this is because you're not doing anything new. Your brain isn't being stimulated by the same routine that you perform over and over. The example I have always remembered is what happens on your commute to work. At this point, it's second nature to you, and you do it without thinking, but as soon as there's a roadblock or an accident that happens, it forces your brain to engage and you wake up a little bit. I've taken a similar approach with gaming, and I'm trying to force my brain to engage with new genres, hopefully to break existing patterns and experience more stuff I've never really tried. It's been in my routine for as long as I can remember to play similar types of games, mostly competitive games and first-person shooters, but as soon as I discovered the roguelike genre, I went wild, and I think a big reason for this is because it was new to me and I had a lot to learn. So my simple advice would be to try out different genres. You have to put in effort, however, and give every genre or game a proper go, or you're doing yourself a big disservice. In the past, I've shied away from 2D games, and then I gave Rogue Legacy 2 a proper go, and all of a sudden I had purchased Neon Abyss and started playing Dead Cells, and I am so much more confident in that genre now. I've been trying my hardest to get into deck builders recently, with Marvel Snap being incredibly popular. I thought I'd try my hand at beating some deck builders and begin to understand that genre, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The last anecdote in this section will be how for the longest time I never gave The Witcher 3 a proper go. I got bored after the first 2 hours and refunded it. A friend recommended it to me a while back, and when I did give it a proper go, I sunk over 90 hours into it. Moral of the story here, try different genres, give them a good go, and don't be so closed off to trying new things. There are a lot of different types of games, and I guarantee you'll find plenty of them enjoyable. Having played games competitively for 9 years now, trust me when I say that if you start to take a game super seriously, it can become a lot more fun than it is casually. Some of my greatest memories and moments have been from games that I have taken the time to get really good at, and the great thing about this is that it doesn't have to be a game with an esports scene, it can be any game. As long as you sink your teeth in and engage the competitive side of you, you can really start to enjoy certain games more. On the flip side, I think some people also need to do the exact opposite and not take games seriously at all. Inherently, games are made to be fun, and it's very easy to taint that experience if you take them too seriously. It is very easy to become angry at a game when you constantly lose and nothing goes your way. So change your goals with the game. Change your mindset, and all of a sudden you don't care anymore, and now that there's nothing on the line, it leaves all the room in the world for you to enjoy the game for what it is. Obviously, you need some self-awareness with this. Only you will know what is preventing you from having more fun, so take a moment to reflect and figure out why you're being held back from having fun. Is it because you're taking the game too seriously, or not serious enough? The next one might be obvious, but setting goals for yourself when you start or come back to a game is a very powerful motivator. I'm a completionist, so setting a goal to 100% complete a game is a very good motivator for me, but it doesn't have to be that crazy. It can be as simple as just to beat the game. It can be as simple as just 1 or 2 achievements. It can be just as simple as to get good at it, so you can complete a certain part of it. Maybe one day I will complete the 32 heat statue in Hades, and if I ever do want to, that simple goal, which isn't even an achievement by the way, will be a big motivating factor to continue playing. Hell, set some challenges for you and your friends to try and complete, either together or against each other. Competition is a very healthy motivator. Just think of all the times you've stayed up late trying to outlevel your friend just to flex on them when they wake up. Now, to some people, setting goals with games means your playtime is more artificial than anything, and I totally understand that. If you need to set goals to enjoy games, then it can feel a bit superficial, but I don't think that's an incredibly bad thing. In fact, I think something that setting a goal is really good at is allowing you to experience the full depth of the game. Setting out to 100% a game will without a doubt give you a very complete experience of most, if not all, of the game. And if you stick to that goal, you might find yourself enjoying the game more now that you've given it the time of day. I thought that Cyberpunk was alright back in the day, but the story always stood out to me. When I went back to 100% complete it, not only was the game far more enjoyable, but it cemented the story as one of the best I'd experienced in gaming. So yeah, give yourself some goals to achieve when you start playing. Not only will they motivate you to continue, but sometimes you'll find that you get a much more fulfilling experience out of the game just because you set a goal.
No!
Next, I want you to do yourself a favor and stop playing games on easy mode or even normal mode. Push the skills that you've built up over years of gaming to the limit and don't back down from a challenge. How many times have you chosen normal difficulty because you thought that the other ones would impede on your experience? I am certainly guilty of this. I don't want to get frustrated with a great game and stop playing it or limit myself from enjoying the story or any other aspect of the game just because I made it hard for myself. But what I found is that pumping up the difficulty can actually make the game more enjoyable. Hades is such a pure example of this. It makes the game harder to earn more rewards, but even just making the game harder is enough of a reward to keep me coming back. Elden Ring's mainstream success is proof that so many people are okay with the challenge, and I think one of the big reasons that Souls-like games pay off is because when you're given a moment to appreciate how far you've made it and the obstacles that you've overcome, you can feel very proud of yourself. This is the case with so many other games too. Beating a game that you love on a difficulty that you've never tried or downloading a hard game just for the sake of it can be a super rewarding experience. And if nothing else, you can say that you did it. I've made this whole section sound super cheesy and I don't know why, it's just how it came out of my brain and went onto the page, but I think you understand where I'm coming from. If nothing else, challenge yourself for the hell of it. And as I said, sometimes a game becomes so much more enjoyable when you make it harder. The quiet moments mean more and the victories are all that much sweeter. It's no secret that what's going on in your real life can have a major impact on your passions and hobbies. So many people fall out of love with what they love doing because mental health or real life problems get in the way. But we often don't think about how that stuff will impact our passion for video games, probably because we use them as an escape to get away from all that stuff in the first place. As crazy as it might sound, taking care of yourself and your surroundings in real life will absolutely help you to enjoy games more, or any hobby or passion that you might have. Something as simple as cleaning your gaming room or your desk can have a big impact on when you actually sit down to play. I think it goes deeper than that, however. Skills that take time to learn, like discipline, are essential for enjoying video games. How do you expect to beat a game if you don't have discipline or patience? We live in a world where short clips of exciting content have taken over social media, but one of the best things I've ever done is uninstall TikTok. My attention span was drastically impacted by TikTok, and I feel like I'm still feeling the effects of nights of scrolling through my For You page. It would be ignorant to think that this and other distractions or impacts on your mental health or brain function wouldn't have an impact on your ability to enjoy video games. Video games engage your brain, but if your brain is so used to only being engaged for a short 15-second clip, then how do you expect to stay interested in any game? If your real life is filled with pressures, stresses, and distractions, then it might be best to sort those out first before sinking your teeth into a 100-hour open world game. I'm speaking from limited but real experience here. My mental health has never been the best, but when I've taken steps to help myself and my surroundings, it leaves room for other things like games to be fully enjoyed. I encourage everyone who has listened for this long to seriously think about this. I don't go to the gym, but I know if I did in one way or more, it would help me enjoy games more. I know that if I ate properly, it would give me more energy throughout the day and night to play games for longer. It isn't rocket science, but it can be hard to achieve. If my experience has told me anything, it's that being happy with myself makes being happy while playing video games much easier. I certainly want to end this video on a positive note, so the next thing that I'll recommend is to get friends involved in any way that you can. Ask them to buy a new game and to try it with you. Get a group together and get lost in an open world survival game. Download some party games like Ultimate Chicken Horse or Stick Fight and just have fun. One of the things that Erdrix reckons you should try is streaming or making content out of the games that you play, so I want to give my own anecdotal take on this. Since getting into content creation, my view on games has changed for the better. Seeing the potential for content has not only motivated me to play more games, to make more content, but it's made me see games in a much more positive light. Maybe that's because I want my channel to be inherently positive, I'm not quite sure. Either way, it's been a big help to me, and when I was streaming for 6 months straight about a year and a half ago, I can't even begin to describe how much more fun the games I was playing became. Talking about what I was doing or what was happening made the experience so much more engaging, and because people were watching, it made me think more and engage more, and that is just super important. Lastly, I think it can be imperative that you recognize when you need to take a break. This is something that obviously you need to figure out for yourself, but getting out into the real world and getting away from games can not only relieve you of some of the negatives that come with playing games, but it can also give you a different perspective on them. Again, that is something that you'll have to figure out for yourself, and it will take self-awareness. Thank you so much for watching. This is a topic I'm incredibly passionate about, so hopefully some things that I said will assist you, and even if they didn't, I hope you enjoyed it anyway. As I said, I was inspired by Erdrix, so go check out their video. I'd love to discuss some of what I've said here. My comment notifications are on, so feel free to chuck one down there and I'll get to it. If not, follow me on Twitter and on Twitch, subscribe, and I will see you later.